Right now, there's just so many good games. It's really hard to keep track of them. And here we are for the weekly Quickie, as I call it now, where we look at games that have been on a giant discount when they release, or they're just under the radar. These games are typically in that $10 and below range. Sometimes it'll get up a little bit higher, but I digress. Let's start off with the first one, and it is a banger. It is called Virtual Mom. This is a job simulator game where you become a mom. And no, this game is more of an assault to women than Chris Brown. Like, this game is the Tory Lanez of assault to women and to the mom. As somebody who is a quote unquote mom, I can tell you that my life is not like this in the slightest. Because, see, all you really do is move your character to a certain spot and just stand there. And then you play Candy Crush. Like, who made this game? Who even thought that this is what women do or what moms do, or the parent who takes care of the children and cooks and cleans? They just play Candy Crush all day and just stand there? This is awful. And you do actually have a job in this game, but God knows what it is because it doesn't explain it to you. Just a lot of playing Candy Crush, essentially. I mean, if you were looking for Andrew Tate in the form of a video game, it would be this. Not only is it demeaning to women, it's also a complete waste of your time and money. Now, anyone who was looking at it could have told me the same thing, and yes, I did play it just because it was funny, and it looked completely awful, but I just thought I would talk about it because I spent $2 on it. On to a game that's actually good, and this game is called Deflector. It comes to us from Red Deer Games, and it's a game where you play like a drone operator that goes into, I would guesstimate, like gigantic computer systems or things like that, and you kill viruses. It's a kind of a twin stick shooter that has a little bit more to it. For instance, well, deflecting is a big part of the game. It's your shields that can bounce back projectiles, and if done right, it's even more powerful than your actual weapons. But not only is it just this one little drone, you actually have quite a wide range of drones that you can choose. It runs a lot like a roguelike, bringing back some stuff that you can use in your next playthrough as far as like unlocking the other drones and stuff like that. But it does lack a little bit in that, if I'm being honest. I wish there was a little bit more that you could really upgrade your character with, or even bring over as far as like attack or your health, things like that that could really maximize each playthrough. I think that would maybe make it just a little bit better. But as far as everything else is concerned, I was really surprised how just fluid the game was and playable it was. It was a lot of fun. Like, it's a game that I would say is great in between games. Like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to play, and just think about it. I'm going to sit down with this game. Or a game that would be good for like waiting at a doctor's office, or a kid's sports game, or something that you don't care about. Sorry, kids. But no, it's like when you have some time to pass, and that happens quite often, throughout your day. Maybe you have a 15-minute break and you just want something to do. You can't really jump into like a big JRPG. This is a good game. Like I said, it performs really well, which I was really surprised by, honestly, because a lot of these twin stick shooters can have a lot of lag and certain issues like that, but that wasn't the case with this. It is technically sound, and it's just fun. It's a really good game. Right now it's on sale for like $1.99, so it's a good pickup. And the last game I want to talk about is a game called Freak Crossing, which I saw maybe a month or so ago, and I thought like it just looked really weird and interesting. And as soon as I got it, I thought I made a huge mistake. Well, a $3.99 mistake, because it was all in Japanese. And I was like, oh, no, I can't play it. And it looked really interesting, the whole premise of it. Now, even though I didn't know exactly what it was because it was Japanese, with a little bit of guessing, I found out where to change the language, and thankfully, yes, there's English. So in this game, you take over for your uncle, who is like the chief of a village. And really what you are and what you do is you just problem solve. You're not a cop, so you can't actually like arrest anyone or cause any problems. But at the same time, it's kind of on you to solve more domestic and civil issues than it is to handle some of the big stuff, although it does get into some crazy stuff. And just a warning, because the characters do look sort of, I don't know, childlike and fun and whatever, this is not a kid's game. This was 100% not a kid's game. Within the first hour, you will be met with a lot of different themes. One of them being like public urination and defecation, loitering, which is, well, that's fine. But then you have, people buying, say, sugar babies. If you know what that is, that is a thing you have to talk to one of your residents about purchasing a sugar baby. And the thing is, what's cool is when you have these conflicts or you try to convince one of your residents to do something or to change their ways, it turns into a mini game. And there's quite a few different mini games that you play. Most of them with you having a health bar, them having a health bar. And if you hit them 3 times within these mini games, then you win. And if not, well, your day's over and you have to restart. It's pretty fun. And like I said, for an adult, it's great because there is some fantastic humor in the game. Like, for instance, there is an anime fan, and not just a simple anime fan. I mean, this guy has like the waifu girls like all over his walls. And as you notice, there's a ton of toilet paper in his room. It's things like that just, they're hilarious, but they actually bring to the forefront in the game. So, as I said before, not for kids, but really funny for adults and just kind of a fun game, if I'm being honest. It's kind of like the adult version of Animal Crossing, but you're actually more active in this game and you don't, do any of the Animal Crossing stuff, but you do interact a lot with the villagers and the other people in the town. So, that's kind of interesting. Your whole goal of this game, by the way, is to raise the level of the town. The cleaner it is, the people have less problems. There's not people stealing random stuff. People not trying to cheat the lottery. All of these things are things you have to worry about. Like, this is the worst town, by the way. I mean, we're talking about just the worst collection of anthropomorphic beings that you can imagine. But it also makes for a really good and fun game. And right now, it's like $3.99. Typically, it's $4.99. Either way, I think it's worth it. It's fun. It's an interesting little game that doesn't take itself too serious, and it's really good to just pass time by and every now and then get like oh my god, I can't believe we put that in this game. You'll have that experience many times. But as I said, just make sure your kids don't get this game or you don't purchase it for your kids. That's another step. Like, you're gonna have a lot of questions. The thing is, there's not like a lot of blood or nudity or anything like that, but there is a lot of insinuation. There is a lot of references that they wouldn't get. So you're going to have your kids come up and ask you really weird questions like, hey, what's S&M? Things like that. Things that you don't want your kids asking you. Especially, ever, honestly. I don't care. Your kid's 30 years old. You don't want them coming up to you and asking you what S&M is. So yeah, needless to say, this is one that the children should avoid, but these are all the games that I've talked about. I've got more coming. We've got a review for Knights vs. Giants coming up tomorrow, and that's going to be awesome. The game is a lot of fun, and I'm just excited to talk about it. We also have Wargroove 2 coming out, and Project Blue. Those are all games that are on the horizon. We're going to get to them as quick as we can. Unfortunately, unlike Mom Simulator or Virtual Mom, being a real parent is a lot more work, and so I have to find time here and there to be able to get this done. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys so much. You are amazing. I love y'all. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.